All right, today on Nova Legends podcast, I got John Millward, coach of Lewis High School boys men's soccer team. Recently finished runners-up in the Occoquan region, and they're playing in the state tournament this week. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Absolutely, Julian. Appreciate the invite and the opportunity to talk.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, I'm in a good position to talk to you and also to Coach Amato, because my son was a midfielder from Yorktown. He's number 6. He played the
Gotcha.
mid. So I know both teams very well. And one thing about Chandler said about you guys, he thought you guys are really good, very quick team. My scouting report is excellent goalie. I think Byron
Benegas. Yep, he was our district player of the year, and tonight we'll find out he's in contention for regional player of the year.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, well deserved. Dorados kid. You're
Yep.
right back. Steven. Forgot Steven's last name.
Velasquez.
Yeah,
Really amazing player. Really strong player for us, and unfortunately, he's been a DA kid for the last 3 years. So this is the only year that he's played high school. And boy, he's a weapon on the outside.
He's a great player. You got lots of speed on the wings, and you cross ball really well. You got a little bit of size in the midfield. I think your center back's a big kid, does a good job as well. But anyway, why don't you give us your impressions of the team, of your team?
Appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a heck of a year. Really excited about how the team has evolved and grown across the year. Obviously, bringing back 14 players from a state finalist team from the year before has really created a strong core of kids that believe that hard work, dictates results. And so this entire season has just been, not necessarily living up to expectations externally, but internally. We knew we had a really strong core, led again out of our back by a 6'2", really strong Marymount commit with Byron. We went from giving up 30 goals last year to only giving up 12 all season. And so that's just been really our bread and butter is strong defense and really tactical and technical players that can exploit the weaknesses on our opponents.
Yeah, that last year I remember watching you guys' score line. Sometimes you'd be up 3-0, final would be 5-5. I mean, you guys were insane. Why don't you compare the two teams? I mean, who did you lose from last year? And I guess you gained Steven, and who else this year? Yeah,
absolutely. So, flashback last year, obviously with the COVID regulations and the fact that you had to win your region in order to get into the state tournament, we found ourselves in a rare spot. And so we had an All-American player in Christian Cruz, who's currently playing at Radford. He accounted for about 50% of our offense. I think he had 21 goals and 13 assists in a 15-game span. And so going into this year, we knew we had to make up for that. And, while we don't have the one individual goal scoring threat, it's been a team effort across the board. In our 18 games, we're up to about 47 goals, I think, which matches what we did in 15. So losing an All-American player is dynamic, but the team has stepped up and really made some progress. We were able to bring in 2 other players, one other senior, Jonathan Calderon, our left back, who's very dynamic, number 5. He also had been playing at the DA level and wasn't able to come out. But again, having those 2 weapons as our flankers that really get engaged in the attack has really changed kind of our style. Before I would envision us more or less comparable to a Tottenham style, right? Now we get a little bit more of a Liverpool look. And so we talk about, both programs from the EPL perspective and, what happened to Liverpool before they finally won the Champions League. And that's kind of how we've approached this year is really embracing that, not to be defeated, not to be overlooked, and to really be prideful. Also been able to add Edgar Beltran, number 20 in our midfield. He might be small and de minimis, but that boy is a dog. He will run and work hard for you and work hard for his teammates. And I'm really excited to have Edgar out with the program this year.
Who's your leading scorer?
Right now it's Dean Nguyen, number 22, with 10 goals on the year. And then we've got a bunch of kids with, between 6 and 8 goals. I think about 3 kids with between 6 and 8.
Yeah. Well, one thing that you mentioned that you got some DA kids back. Public service announcement to all kids: U19 travel soccer is terrible. There's my son's team. They forfeited like 4. They won by forfeit like 4 of the last 5 games. All the teams fall apart. U19 kids have no interest in club soccer after 10 years. So go off your high school team and enjoy your senior year of soccer. But getting back to Lewis High School, there are some high schools like Yorktown. They're in the state in lacrosse. They're in the state in everything, it seems like. But Lewis is a little different. It's a smaller school. It came up from Division 5 last year to Division 6. You guys don't make the state tournament in every sport. What is the soccer team meant to Lewis High School?
I mean, if you've ever had the opportunity, I mean, you came to our stadium this year and saw the kind of atmosphere from a high school regular season game that's non-conference. You can see how much the program has meant to the community. You know, it's a sense of pride. You know, on the outside of our building, 1990 is the last state champion, and that was from the girls soccer program. And so, you know, I've been here now 12 years. The program hadn't won a banner since 1990. And so last year's success really put the flavor into the community's mouth again of something to be proud for. And again, when you have 12 seniors that are really putting it all on the line, you get that community buy-in. And it's been a blessing, and it's awesome to see, because again, it opens up pride in the other sports too. You know, we're seeing our resurgence in our football team, resurgence in our lacrosse programs. And, you know, it starts from the top, right? So it starts from a great administration with Principal Smith, our APs with Dr. Sykes Thurston, all the way through our DSA with Mr. James and Matt McDonald supporting him. You know, great institution inside the school, and really support for the kids. Helps them really focus on what they need to do, which is, you know, succeed for the school, and understand that they're willing to embrace that burden and put that weight on the shoulders. And again, last 3 years, excluding the COVID year, 2019, 2020, 21 and 22, it's just been on the up and up. And I'm proud of the boys for continuing to believe in the culture that we've redefined here. And, you know, the sense of belief really does take you extra than just talent on the field.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Coach. What about being in Division 6 now? Are you happy with the change? At least you're with the other schools in the area. You know, with Division 5, I guess there were several schools, and then, you know, you had some difficult trips, which is actually fun. The state tournament to go down to Virginia Beach and play for a state title. But are you glad you're with Division 6 and the schools that are bigger?
Absolutely. You know, and again, our regular season has always been, you know, basically we were the only 5A, us and TJ at the end were the only 5A school or 5C schools in our region. And so that meant, you know, we had to match up against all the Loudoun schools, which had similar size of enrollment. But our regular season, you know, we were always playing South Lakes, Oakton, you know, so it's been pretty consistent and not really different. I think getting into the regional play this year around has just kind of been more exciting, because again, not that everybody got in, but you had more games, and you had more really tight games and competitive matches. And, you know, the rivalries are tighter at this level, in this region, at least. I mean, your region is competitive as heck too, but, you know, I think just being able to play these guys and all these kids is, you know, I think you talked with Coach Amato about, is all these guys play the club together, you know, so everybody knows 2 or 3 guys on each team, which makes it fun, you know, rather than, you know, we had to go down to Roanoke and play Patrick Henry. You know, you're scouting on videos, and you really can't really put any onus into that. You just have to show up and play your game.
Well, one thing that's interesting is that the Occoquan region, everyone qualifies for the regional tournament. In the northern region, only 4 teams do. So,
Right.
you know, 3 or 4 teams are eliminated. That really worked to your favor. Lewis had a tremendous year. Again, my son says one of the best teams he played all year, and we played all the good ones. And you guys got surprised in the first round of the district. So if you guys would have been in the northern region, your season would have been over.
Absolutely.
It would have been a very difficult way to end all those seniors' career. But you guys got a lifeline. But one thing it did do is you threw the regional bracket in complete havoc. Probably the 2 best teams in the region were Robinson, my alma mater, and who Yorktown tied,
Yep.
and Lewis. And because you guys lost, you guys are put into their region. So it was good for you guys that you guys got a lifeline, but it was very bad for Robinson in that they had to play you guys in the semifinals instead of the finals.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, our region was flipped on upside down, similar to our unfortunate exit from the district tournament. You know, Hayfield took out Fairfax. You know, the number 1 seeds lost on day 1 from both sides of the bracket. And so it was just, you knew it was going to be, you know, who wants it more. And, you know, that Mount Vernon game still gives me some nightmares. You know, kudos to the boys for, you know, coming in as the 8th seed, taking us on, and literally just we started flat. They had a 2-0 lead on us, and we had to fight back from there. And no matter what in this region, you can't spot a team 2 goals in a playoff atmosphere. You know, we got to make sure that we're competitive and come out sharp. You know, the stats don't lie, but the results sometimes do. I mean, excuse me, stats lie. It's sometimes the result. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, when you outshoot a team 25 to 4, but they win 3-2, you know, they beat you that day. So good for them. And similar happened with our region final here against Westpo. Got to tip our caps to them. They came in with a distinct style. They were going to sit and counter all day long. We knew it. We couldn't penetrate the goal. And, that's what happens when you let a 0-0 game go to sudden death. Sometimes the mistakes happen. And unfortunately, we were on the short end of that stick. But, I think it's a blessing and a curse, right? Because once again, just like we experience coming out of the Mount Vernon game, it's an eye opener. We get a second chance because of the success that we had against Robinson in the shootout. And we have a second lifeline, which not all teams get. And so these boys know you don't get a third.
Yeah. What did you tell the boys going into the shootout against Robinson?
We beat the number 2 team in the country last year, Patrick Henry, according to Prep Soccer, in a shootout with Byron in goal. And I had 4 out of the 5 same kids in the program doing kicks. We'd been there before in a bigger stage event. And to be honest, the kids trusted our goalie and just gives them the utmost confidence. And so telling the boys, believe, execute, finish. And it took us a little bit of extra PKs, but we got there. And it was a really great feeling. I myself am a Cavalier, a WT Woodson grad.
Oh.
But in 2003, we decided not to pay for the George Mason Center to graduate. So I graduated actually in the Robinson gym. So all of my graduation pictures are Robinson colors in the background, which to this day still makes Robinson target number 1.
There you go. I thought I liked you. I graduated in that same gym. So that's amazing. So now, what do you think about the fact that you guys have not won any hardware? I guess you won the regular season district championship. That's something, but you lost the districts, you lost regionals. So so it's nice to pick up some hardware along the way. But on the other hand, it's all to play for. It doesn't matter who won what. Everyone starts from kind of an even kill here. So what is it like not having won regional or districts, but you're still alive in the state? What's your approach?
So again, not relying on the past, but have had that experience before. As a freshman at WT Woodson, got to watch our program not win any hardware, lose in a district finals against Annandale, lose into a regional finals against Robinson, only to match up against Robinson in the finals and win 3-1. And so, it's tournament play. Any given day, high school kids are the most consistent thing about them is the inconsistency that can show up at the wrong time. And so the motivation is, trust, execute, and finish, right? I mean, that's really, really all we have. And so our program's goal, right, is, and you can see it in a hashtag on my Twitter all the time. We're working towards big things. That big thing can be a district title, a region title, a state title, or it can be, playing the best soccer we can play in that 80-minute period. And so, that's the mindset that I like my kids to have going into a game. And that's codified and filtered down by our captains and our leadership. And it's really awesome to see because when I took over the program in 2011, they hadn't won a game in 2 years. And it took about 7 years to get this thing to a point where we're consistently in the mix. And, you're getting players to buy in and believe a lot more than they were when we were 2-11 on a season. So.
Well, the key is in soccer, it's just getting the good kids in your building to want to play for the high school as well as the club. Every school's got players in the building that can play. At Yorktown, we had, one of the top fullbacks, center backs in the area. He quit 2 games in. We have 2 or 3 other DA players that played last year, didn't play this year. We had a great team. There's no excuse.
You guys were really solid.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, a great team, great coach. But I mean, part of the thing of building the program in soccer is just getting the players in your building to come out for the team.
Right. And success breeds success, right? So they want to be a part of what's got going on. So we're living proof of that. The last 3 years have shown that does happen. And the idea is to not let the foot off the gas, right? And keep it going.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts about Langley? Have you seen Langley?
To be honest, I haven't. I mean, obviously the boys talk about, have you seen their players? They're watching the films. But, obviously they've had some great results and some tight results with regards to I think they only have 2 losses on the year, but both of them were 1-goal games. So, I've only played against Coach Amato once in my 12-year career, and that was back in 2011. And so it's going to be fun to be able to go into a competitive match. They might not know the most about us. We might not know the most about them, but I know both teams and both programs want to win this game. And so that's going to be really exciting atmosphere. We know that they like to attack. We know that they have some similar height like Yorktown does, and that they're dangerous on set pieces. But I think our pace is going to be something that they haven't really experienced a lot this year. And so, it's going to be a competitive match, and really excited to see the boys go out there and try to rebound from a sore taste in their mouth. And I think that's where we have a little bit of an advantage. They were celebrating on Friday. We were being pissed off. And so there are little things like that that can really impact the game. So I'm excited to see if our boys step up for the redemption tour.
What would a state title mean to you as a coach and to Lewis as a school?
To be honest, it would mean everything. To the school, I think that, I get a little choked up, but again, one game at a time. But if we could reach that mountaintop, it would be something that would really change the school, and it would be really cool. And it would go along with the name change that we had last year. And so it just continued with out with the Lee, in with the Lewis, and in for the future success. And so again, long way to go, 3 games left, possibly in the season. And so it's let's attack Tuesday so we can get to Friday.
Yeah. Coach, what's your coaching background? Do you also coach club? Do you focus on high school?
I started coaching about 2 years after college. I went to Shippensburg University, played there for 4 years.
That's a football school.
It's a football school, but it's Division II, soccer, PSAC, Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, really, really fun, usually competitive in the NCAA Division II tournament, 1 or 2 teams getting in. So learned a lot, came out of there. My wife is a big time softball coach, coaches with Coach Williamson over at Bishop O'Connell. And so saw how much love she was having coaching and really wanted to get involved. So went on FCPS and threw my hat in the ring for a Lewis or a Lee job that I don't think a lot of other people were applying for at the time. And, I know Coach Amato coached at Lee before he went over to Langley. So
I didn't know that.
we have some alignment there. But, coming into that program, getting the opportunity as a 25-year-old kid to learn how to command a room, as well as, be able to pass down some soccer knowledge gained and through club and college. I learned by doing. And so outside of that, really kind of taking the personal licensing tour myself, and my daughter is getting me into coaching club. So I'm starting at a BRYC U10 team this fall.
Oh, great. Well,
it's going to be different. It's going to be different than coaching high school boys. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it will be. Do you think you're going to bring a big crowd over to Langley? I'm going to have my camera there. I'm going to take photos of the crowd. So I'm trying to have a contest of who can have the biggest crowds at the games.
Well, I think Langley's probably doing one of their giveaways again with white shirts or something, so they'll probably get a good turnout. But I think we'll surprise you with the amount of folks that are traveling. I know the tickets the ticket link was being passed around today, and so we're really working through getting the word of mouth spread. The game changed from 6 to 7:40 or 8 to now it's at 7:45. So making sure making sure the messaging is secure so people get there on time is going to be big. But I think that we at least had 400 or 450 folks at the Westpo game, which was a good travel side.
That's great. Well, Coach, you have a great Twitter feed. You're a very positive guy. I love following you. Hopefully you help me share this video. I like to bring a light to our local sports here. But I wish you best of luck. You've got a great team. You guys would be a very deserving winner if you guys win the whole thing. And I really like your team. You got good players. You play the right way. You're very positive on the sidelines. Wish you best of luck. I really appreciate you doing this interview.
Absolutely, Julian. Thanks for the opportunity to talk and talk about my boys. Again, it's their hard work that's getting here. I just have to be the guy in the background to make sure that we're playing within the parameters that we've set as a program. So it's great to have such senior-led kids that have experience playing in these kind of finals and semifinals and quarterfinals. So, we look to leverage that experience when we take on Langley here tomorrow night.
That's going to be amazing. I can't wait, Coach. I definitely will see you tomorrow.
All right, sir. Appreciate it, Julian. Have a great day.
Thanks again, buddy. Yeah, see you tomorrow, Coach.